Oh gosh, it's filming. Oh no. Okay. I have never known my camera to look so intimidating before. Sorry about the not too great lighting. I'm currently in Manchester in a hotel and it's a very dark room and I've had to move all the furniture around to get the best lighting, and unfortunately this is it, so sorry if I'm a bit shadowy on this side. Why hello, it's me Harley, back at it again for another video. I genuinely don't know how to begin this because I just have no idea how to approach this subject. Oh, I'm so uncomfortable. Oh gosh. Just calming myself down. So yeah, I'm going to be making a video about something which is deeply distressing to me, and this is a video I don't want to do, really at all. It's taken me days to force myself to be able to do this. And I've finally managed to get enough energy and enough strength to bite the bullet and do this video. Possibly because I've got something really good going on this evening. That might have fueled the energy to be able to actually do this. So what's my video about? I am going to explain a little bit of my story about how I was falsely accused of a terrible, terrible crime and then had a crime committed against me. As I said, I don't want to do this video, but there is a very good reason why I'm going to be doing it. It's only a matter of time now before this gets into the news. I'd rather be the person to break it out and tell people about it than other people. The reason why is because essentially it's 3 people against a massive organisation. I have never committed a crime, I have no criminal record, I have been completely cleared of anything they accused me of. However, they continue to make me out to be a monster, and they will keep doing so. I'm trying to say my side. I am trying my very, very hardest to get my side across as soon as possible. In this video, I am going to be putting things very, very simply because it is a really long story to go into. There are a lot of factors, a lot of really ridiculous things. If I put it all into one video, it would be way over an hour long. There are going to be more videos on this topic. In fact, I'm pretty certain I know what the next video is going to be about. So, stop beating about the bush and actually get on with it. I was falsely accused of terrorism. Oh God, I hate that sentence, but it's true. My school accused me of terrorism, or rather accused me of attempting to make a terrorist attempt. God. Why would they do this? It's based on ridiculous accusations made by a couple of people who were in a former friendship group of mine. Personally, I wasn't very close with those couple of girls, but I was close with a few of their friends. So we were in close proximity to one another for about a year. In fact, it would be a school year. This was in the first year of sixth form. So I was age 16 to 17, if you are from a different country, if that helps. I never knowingly had any problems with them. Like, sometimes they might have made a catty comment or snapped at me, but everybody has good days and bad days, so I just dismissed that as maybe they're having a bit of a rough time and they took it out on me a little bit. It was never anything really extreme, and we never really got into arguments. So generally, I just didn't associate much with them. I had a few classes with them, and because of that, I had to sit next to them quite often, actually. But as I said, I was in that friendship group because of other people. These accusations, I will just say a couple of the most ridiculous ones. They genuinely accused me of having a death note, as in from the anime and manga series Death Note, and they claimed to the school that that was a legitimate threat to them. I'm sorry, but I don't have the power of a god. How you could deem that a threat, I have no idea. I was told that this is threatening behaviour. Apparently, I used to sniff in Morse code. I know. I have since tried to sniff in Morse code because I was curious as to how that would actually work. As somebody who semi-regularly gets nosebleeds, all it did was cause me to have a nosebleed. But yeah, that's another accusation that was made against me. These are reasons why my school claimed I was a terror threat. Another thing I was accused of. I was accused of making anti-Semitic chants. Do you want to know what that was? That was the song Edelweiss from The Sound of Music. If you don't know what The Sound of Music is, it's about an Austrian captain who is told that he has to work for Hitler. He is told that he has to aid Hitler's uprising and things like that. And he goes, no, I refuse to work under Hitler. So the song Edelweiss is a song that he sings in The Sound of Music to say goodbye to the homeland he loves as he runs away and seeks refuge in America. That is about as far away from anti-Semitic as you can get, but that was deemed offensive. I'm sorry, musical theatre is a big thing in my life and it was a big topic of conversation at the time. I am so sorry I sang about a little white flower. I'm not. As you can tell, that was a little bit of sarcasm, but I do not apologise for singing Edelweiss. An idea as to how ridiculous these accusations were. In fact, they were so ridiculous, the school ignored them for several months on end before they even considered doing anything about it. And by doing anything about it, they meant never coming to talk to me about it, never coming to me to clear a couple of things up or get my side of the story. No, they gave the information over to the police, and we suddenly had a policeman turn up to do an assessment. Reasonably enough, he declared that I was safe. I was not a threat. I was cleared of any form of radical behaviour. Again, I hear nothing from the school, but I go back for my second year of sixth form. At this point, I had made a new friend. I had been doing a course called the National Citizenship Service, and on that course, I'd met one of my best friends. In fact, you may have seen her legs in one of my videos.
Right.
That is not a joke. You might have seen her legs in one of my videos. I won't leave a link to that because honestly, it's not one of my best videos. It was a video made when we had no internet connection for days on end and we were bored out of our minds, so it's a complete mess. My previous friendship group had basically completely disbanded. The vast majority of them had dropped out of school. The few that had remained didn't really talk to each other much. There wasn't a big falling out, but they'd just grown apart over the holidays, and yeah, things like that happen. With my new very good friend, and she's one of my best friends now, we were in a completely new friendship group. What happened next? I have no knowledge on being bullied, but apparently I am. I am having more accusations made by the same couple of people. It was just a small group of people who didn't like me and wanted me to suffer for some reason. I wish I knew why. I wish I could give you information on why I think they disliked me so much, but I simply can't. On the final day of term, I plan to go in for a half day of school because it's cut off early because Christmas, and I go into the school with Christmas presents for my friends. I plan to go to a small Christmas party at one of my friends' house afterwards. I mean, it's not a normal day, as it's not everyday situation you go to a Christmas party, but it's a normal situation to be in. Everything cut really short, because as I said, I'll do a longer video going far more in depth with this later on. The school have me arrested for attempted terrorism. There were 3 police officers. They had all their stuff with them. They had their bulletproof jacket things. It was mental. And the worst thing about this is we have since learnt that the school was advised not to do this. However, the headmistress, oh God, decided to have me arrested and put the school on lockdown, which is not something that happens in England, despite being advised not to by the police. That is mind-blowing to me. As you can imagine, it was extremely stressful, and I'll go into complete detail about everything that happened in another video. I was then, again, for a second time, cleared of any ill intent by the police. I was cleared of any radicalism and things like that. The school, again, decided that they were going to exclude me for a week, returning back after the Christmas holidays, to do their own investigations. The police actually said they have no idea why the school did this. Their word saying I was not a threat should have been more than enough. But that wasn't the case for the absolutely insane teachers, and specifically the headmistress, I think. That's her opinion. There is a lot of evidence to support the idea that it's mainly her weird malice against me. And I know the reason why she has this malice against me. She needed to justify her appalling actions. So she goes about making me out to be a monster and treating me like a monster because she needs to justify it. She needs this criminal kid because that's how she's treated me. She doesn't want to back down. The school denied it ever being a thing and said that it was a drill. However, the kids in that school knew full well that it wasn't. As I said, in England, we don't have school shootings and things like that, so we don't practice drills for what would happen in that situation. I have never ever been in a lockdown drill before. Neither had any of these students. On top of that, the police officers were clearly seen exploring the school, so they knew that this wasn't a drill. I was also filmed from a classroom window by another student being taken away in an unmarked police car by two very well protected officers. The final nail into this coffin as to why people knew it wasn't a drill was because the key ringleader of this very small group of people who disliked me had gone around announcing it to as many people as she could throughout the school, claiming I was a Nazi, I was racist, even though I have never been. Ever. There is literally no evidence to support this because it doesn't exist. I haven't made anything racist, I haven't said anything racist. It's because that isn't me. I go to an international school at the moment, one where the vast majority of the students are from all around the world. Like, literally, it's about 99% students from other countries. I have also grown up in Leicester, which is quite well known to be one of the most culturally diverse cities in England. I have grown up with people from all sorts of religions since I was an infant. So I have no prejudice on race whatsoever. And I am so lucky because this new friendship group I'd joined, again, the vast majority of them were from all sorts of ethnic backgrounds. They could have gone, we've only known this girl for one singular term, and they could have gone, maybe the accusations have something behind them. And they could have stopped being friends with me. But I am so lucky and thankful to them because despite them knowing me for a very short amount of time, they knew me well enough to know these accusations were absolute nonsense, that they were ridiculous. I am still friends with that entire friendship group today. In fact, I met up with them only a couple of weeks ago. We had quite a big, it wasn't the entire friendship group because some people were busy and things, but it was quite a few of us met up. And I was meant to go Comic-Con yesterday with them, but my email malfunctioned and deleted my ticket, so I couldn't go in the end after all. But yeah, that's beside the point. As I say, these girls and a couple of guys who knew me for such a short amount of time knew me well enough not to take those accusations that were floating around the school seriously. I'll go on to the final part that I'll discuss today because, as I said, this is already a long enough video as it is. I'm trying to make it as short as possible because there's a lot of things to go into and it's going to have to be a step-by-step thing. It's going to have to be a series of videos. That is, the school refused to accept me back properly. The school treated me, despite the fact that I had been cleared. Oh my gosh, it's making my ears ring. And just the thought of it, my ears started ringing because I think I'm going into some form of shock now. This is horrible. Despite the fact that I'd been completely cleared and had my name cleared by the police, the school treated me as if I was a criminal. A couple of things that happened was I wasn't allowed to have any lessons with other students. I had to be by myself. As I said, I'm going to give this a very, very brief thing. I'll go into full detail and tell you everything later on, but I had my pass revoked. I had to be escorted on and off property. I was only allowed one lesson per day. I was searched every day I went into the school. I had to write down everything I had in my bags. God forbid I said I had one pencil and I actually turned out to have two, because that was a big deal to them. And if you're asking why did I go along with this, it's because I'd already spent a year and a bit at that school. I'd done essentially 2/3 of my time to get those qualifications. If I'd given up that school there and then, that would have been all my hard work thrown in the bin for nothing. Even though the way they treated me made me suicidal, and I later actually had a suicide attempt because of the way they treated me. Oh God, I don't even know how, I've lost track of where I was talking because I'm so distressed thinking about it and mentioning the fact that I tried to kill myself, that it's... I don't know what I'm saying. I don't know what to say. Anyway, I'd already done 2/3 of my course, and I decided that I was going to try my hardest to get as many of the qualifications as I could out of it. That's the only reason why I stayed. Because of the accusations that were made, I was regularly attacked in the streets, both verbally and physically. It's made it so then my hometown and city doesn't feel like home to me. I want to move away, and if I get the opportunity to, oh, park to you too. So, and if I get the opportunity to, I do want to move away. It has caused me so many problems. In fact, I can honestly say I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for my mum. Oh God, I feel sick from that. As I said, there's a lot more to go into, so much more detail. For the time being though, I'll say toodle pip old beans, because that's what I usually do, and I'm trying to make it a bit more light-hearted. But this is really not a light-hearted video, and I certainly didn't want to make it. I'm generally going to have a good day today. So despite this video being very, very hard for me to make, I finally got round to doing it. All my stalling, all my procrastinating, I finally got round to doing it. I'll just end on this note. If you want to know what school this is, so you can avoid it at all costs, because who knows who this school could pick on next. Essentially, a teacher can push a student to attempting suicide, and the teacher will still be supported and backed by the way the system currently is. Avoid Beecham College at all costs. I have so many problems because of that school, and most of them are because of the headmistress, Kath Kelly. I seriously believe there is something very, very wrong, not only with her, but with a couple of other teachers at that school. I'm going to say in my opinion, because that's what kind of legally I have to say, but I genuinely believe it is a danger to students, and I'm not the only person who has been traumatised by this school. If you can, avoid that school at all costs. That's all I'm going to say. So, on that kind of depressing note, I'm going to go and see Bad Flower now. Well, not right now, I'm going to be seeing Family First, but I'm going to be seeing Bad Flower and Toodle Pip Beans. See you for an update next time. Not all my videos are going to be on Beecham because my life doesn't revolve around that little piece of hell. So, bye!